I was running down the slick, rain-soaked streets, my jacket clinging to me as the city lights reflected in puddles. My watch read just past midnight. The last train home was due any minute. I had to make it. Every step echoed in the near-empty streets, each puddle splash a small reminder that I was alone. The train station loomed ahead, eerily silent except for the flicker of a few overhead lights. Normally, the platform buzzed with late-night travelers, but tonight it was deserted. A cold wind cut through the station, carrying the smell of wet asphalt and something metallic I couldn't place. My chest tightened. The train's headlights pierced the darkness as it screeched into the station. I stepped aboard, trying to calm my racing heart. That's when I saw him. At the far end of the car, a man sat hunched over, mumbling to himself. His head barely lifted, but I felt it, his eyes, sharp and calculating, scanning the car. I forced myself to move. I picked a seat as far from him as possible, stuffed my backpack on my lap, and shoved my headphones in, pretending I didn't notice, but I felt every second of his presence pressing against me. Minutes dragged on. The train rattled through the empty city. I tried to focus on my music, but the prickle at the back of my neck wouldn't go away. Every now and then, I stole a glance. Our eyes met once, just a fraction of a second before he looked away. That gaze, it wasn't curiosity or casual observation. It was precise, deliberate. Then the train slowed. My pulse spiked. The man stood. Every step down the aisle was slow, methodical. He was coming for me. Panic slammed into me like a wave. I clutched my backpack tighter, pretending to tie my shoelaces, but my legs wanted to bolt. Step by step, he closed the distance, silent except for the soft scrape of his shoes on the metal floor. When he was a few feet away, he leaned in, his voice low and chilling. "I know what you're hiding." My stomach dropped. I leaped to my feet, swinging my bag instinctively. The train lurched violently around a curve, nearly throwing me off balance. I bolted for the door as the train screeched to a stop at the deserted platform. Rain poured in, soaking me instantly. My shoes slipped on the wet tiles, but I didn't care. I ran. Sliding onto the platform, I didn't look back. Behind me, the train doors clanged shut. I skidded into the night, rain stinging my face. My lungs burned, my heart pounded, but adrenaline kept me moving. For the first time in months, I felt truly alive and terrified at the same time. For the next few days, I avoided the train completely. I took longer routes home, walked faster, kept my head down. The man's eyes haunted me. I couldn't forget them, couldn't forget the whisper. "I know what you're hiding." Then it happened again. I was walking home from work, streets mostly empty, when I noticed him, standing under a streetlight, calm, silent, watching. My chest tightened. My instincts screamed at me to run. And I did. Feet pounding puddles, I darted down side streets, turned corners sharply, hoping to lose him. I ducked into a narrow alley, skidding past dumpsters and trash cans. For a moment, I caught my breath and peeked around a corner. He was still there, calmly matching my pace, silent and patient. Adrenaline sharpened every sense. I spotted a fence leading to a construction site. Without thinking, I vaulted over it, scraping my hands, heart hammering. Behind me, I heard footsteps, soft but unyielding. He hadn't given up. I sprinted across the site, clambered over piles of gravel, ducked under scaffolding. Finally, I reached a row of parked cars. I crouched behind one, gasping, trying to calm my shaking hands. The man stopped at the lot's edge, just standing there, watching. And then, he was gone. I slumped against the car, soaked, trembling, but alive. My chest heaved, lungs burning, but I had escaped. This time. I didn't know if he would appear again, but I realized something important. Fear was a powerful motivator, and tonight it had saved me. From that night on, I didn't take shortcuts. I watched my surroundings, kept my wits sharp, and never assumed I was alone. The city that had once felt ordinary now seemed full of hidden eyes and silent watchers. I knew one thing. The game wasn't over. I had survived this encounter, but he was still out there, waiting, watching. And next time, I wasn't going to just run. I was going to be ready. I thought the worst was over, but I was wrong. It was a week later, late evening, when I was walking home from work. My route was longer now, deliberately convoluted, weaving through streets with more people and lights. Yet, As I turned a corner onto a dim street, I froze. There he was, standing under a flickering streetlight, motionless. The rain-slicked pavement reflected his shadow like a dark mirror. I didn't hesitate. My legs carried me instantly into a sprint, pumping through puddles, my lungs burning. Every instinct screamed, escape. I turned sharply into an alley, my shoes slipping on wet concrete. I slammed into a dumpster to hide my movement and peered around the corner. He was following, calm, unhurried, eerily precise. My mind raced. I couldn't call the police. They'd think I was crazy, but I also couldn't let him corner me. I spotted a chain-link fence leading to a construction site. Without thinking, I grabbed the top, swung myself over, scraping my hands and arms, and dropped to the gravel below. Behind me, I heard the faintest whisper of movement, the sound of him climbing after me. I ran across piles of lumber, ducked under scaffolding, and vaulted over stacks of concrete blocks. My hands were cut and bleeding, my clothes torn, but I didn't stop. The adrenaline dulled the pain. I could hear him behind me, his steps methodical, echoing with terrifying patience. Finally, I reached a row of parked cars. I crouched behind one, chest heaving, rain streaming down my face, listening. The footsteps stopped. My eyes darted around. Nothing. The street was empty. I dared to breathe, but only for a moment. I knew better than to assume he had given up. I ran again, this time toward a busy street where the glow of passing cars could hide my movements. My heart thudded in my chest like a drum. I had to think, had to find a way to end this game. He wasn't just following. I felt it. He was testing me, learning how I reacted, how far I would run. I ducked into a narrow convenience store, sliding behind a shelf of soda crates. My phone was in my pocket, but I didn't dare call anyone. Not yet. The man didn't enter the store. He stood just outside, barely visible through the glass doors, waiting. Every instinct screamed at me. I needed a plan. I stayed low, silent, watching his shadow. He didn't move for what felt like an eternity. Then, without warning, he stepped back and disappeared into the night. My muscles relaxed slightly, but I knew this wasn't over. Over the next few days, I prepared. I learned the train schedules, memorized dark alleys, and identified escape routes. I knew the next time he appeared, I had to be ready, not just to run, but to confront him if necessary. And then, it happened. I boarded the train, last car, late at night. My hands gripped my bag tightly, heart racing. I scanned the car. Empty. Relief washed over me until I saw him sitting at the far end, calm, hunched, watching. My stomach dropped. I forced myself to stay seated, no sudden movements. He didn't approach immediately. Minutes passed like hours. Every stop, every flicker of light, every shuffle of wheels on rails made me jump. I had to think fast. When he finally stood and started walking toward me, I wasn't going to panic. I clutched my backpack like a shield and rose to meet him halfway. "What do you want from me?" I demanded, my voice steadier than I felt. He stopped a few feet away, eyes sharp but not threatening. For the first time, I noticed a slight tremor in his hands, a weariness behind the intensity. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said quietly. "I just needed to see if you were aware. People carry secrets, heavy ones. Sometimes we need to know if they notice who's watching. You weren't paying attention. My brain struggled to process it." I don't understand." "You will," he said. "Maybe now, maybe later. But one day you'll realize the world watches in more ways than you think." The train screeched to a stop. He nodded once, then stepped off into the darkened station. The doors closed behind him. Gone. I exhaled, adrenaline slowly draining, but I felt stronger. I had faced him. I had survived, and this time I wasn't running blindly. I had learned, adapted, prepared. Fear still lingered, but it was tempered now with awareness. That night, walking home, I kept to the lit streets, my senses sharp. I knew he could appear again, but I also knew I could handle it. The city had changed for me, yes. Shadows were sharper, silence heavier, but I wasn't powerless. And for the first time, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I could walk through the night without being hunted. The game wasn't over, but I was ready.